Hey guys, Dr. Steve here, back with another episode of Core Wellness TV Seed Planting Edition. I've got some lettuce. I'm going to be planting some romaine and some black seeded Simpson. And I'm going to be putting it into my essentially no-till garden. This hasn't been tilled in probably 10 years. I do scratch the surface and put in some new compost and a little bit of manure and things on the surface when I need to do a seed bed. But I'm going to show you a few things about how I do this and the metaphor of seeds and how it relates to your health. So here's the deal. Whoop. Yep. I'm wired. First of all, to be able to work in the garden, it's always important to be able to squat. So this is a worthy effort, is to be able to get into a squat position. If not a squat position, at least to be able to be in a bear position. So you can move. You'll see that I'm going to need my bear position often as I plant these seeds. So I've made lines. I've made 4 lines. So sometimes I broadcast, sometimes I put lines. I'm going to go ahead and take my seeds. Up here, I believe you can still see me, yes. But you see the importance of being able to have good hip mobility through the back. Very important. Here's the bear position. I have a plant down. Now I need stability, and now I'm going to just sprinkle a few of these beautiful romaine seeds down their line. Need to focus. Sorry, I can't talk while I focus. So I've just planted probably 100 seeds and I will weed out, I'll have a lot come up and I'll have to weed that out. But what it shows you is the abundance of nature. One small seed, like you can't even see it, right, can make 1,000 seeds. And if you can save your seed, you never have to buy seed again. This is why it's important to support organic agriculture and the ability to save your seed. That's why it's no secret that I've always been a big Neil Young fan. And he is big on, it's actually illegal for some people to save seed. I'll link to a documentary about that where a family farmer literally got sued by Monsanto and put out of business because he was saving his own seed. Crazy? Yes. Reality? Yes. By the way, this little sack of seeds right here, if I would have bought that, one little small package of organic seeds cost about $2 or $3. And this is literally like having 50 packets. And I gave half of this to Rebecca's parents. It's literally like $100 to $200 worth of seed right here. I can't officially call it organic, but it is. It is. So that's the romaine in its little places. I'm going to cover it up, squat to bear crawl, cover them up gently. Lettuce seeds don't need to be covered. They could grow just scattered on the surface, 1/4 inch, all you need. All right. Now what I'll do is I'll cover this up with straw so we can keep the moisture and the coolness for the seeds to germinate. And that will be how we start this bed. The big piece about this is these seeds are going to ground themselves with roots, and then they're going to grow. And that's the exact same thing that we do. We ground ourselves. We have to have grounding, feet on the ground or hand on the ground. And then we grow away from that. And that's how we naturally create and evolve into our upright posture. If I was to push here, I ground and I grow away from that. Automatically, my shoulder's going to go where it's supposed to go. Everything's going to happen naturally as it's supposed to happen. This is the power of nature. Ground and grow. That's what natural posture is. That's what organic posture is. Grounding and growing. So, anyway, that's part one of this little seed thing. I'm going to do a nutrition piece over in my spinach garden where I use a lot of straw as my mulch, and wheat seeds end up growing when I mulch with straw. And I'm going to show you the difference between green versus grain and the importance of each and why one is inflammatory, one is anti-inflammatory. See you in a minute. Okay guys, we're going to finish up this Core Wellness TV episode, and there's a storm moving in, so I'm going to try and do this quickly. But I promised about seeds versus green versus grain, seeds versus plants. And here we are. This is the lettuce, or the spinach, excuse me. Now this is wheat that came up. That's amazing, really. Every plant makes a seed, right? Thing is when it makes a seed, that's what we eat. Wheat, rice, we eat oatmeal. Those are all seeds, right? Everything, all the oils that we consume, those are all seeds, seed oils. Problem is the seed oils are made up of mostly omega-6 fatty acids, and these are the ones that tend to run towards inflammation in our bodies. Versus when the plant's growing up, the green has all the omega-3 in it. You might have heard omega-3 fish oil is good for you, all that kind of stuff. So that's the number one thing, is green, not grain, right? Or less grain, more green will balance out your fats. Omega-6 versus omega-3, and less omega-6, more omega-3 makes us less inflammatory. And that's a whole nother lesson about chemistry, but that's the bottom line as far as application, okay? So that's that. The other thing about the seeds is that whenever, to protect itself, it inhibits growth. Like when it goes to seed, it has to inhibit growth. That's the whole idea of going to seed. You don't want it to continue growing. You want it to be able to store it, right? Or nature wants to store it for a while. So it puts a lot of inhibitors into it. Phytic acid is one of those inhibitors that is also known as the anti-nutrient. It binds up minerals in your system. I'm not saying never eat grain, but dramatically decrease it, please, because these phytic acid inhibitors, these are what keep life from happening. But when you soak something, like if I soaked this seed, it's a little green, it's not ready yet, but if you soak any seed or you soak any nut, which is also basically a seed, right? When you soak them, the inhibitors start to break down as it starts to germinate. So putting water into a seed helps it come back out alive. And when you wake up that seed, you break down those inhibitors and you get the full benefit of the plant. So what I'm saying is eat more of the plant, less of the seeds, okay? All right, the other thing here is within my spinach patch here, I have lots of an understory happening. And here's the thing, is this is what most people would consider a weed, right? But it's really medicine. It's chickweed. Chickweed has all kinds of redeeming qualities, and so don't be afraid, to eat the weeds if you know what they are, 100% sure what they are. I'm 100% sure because I know this. Springtime, chickweed, amazing. The leaves always grow out away from each other symmetrically, and if you were to take a microscope to this, you would see a very thin line of hair on one side of the plant, like a single line, and that's the way you identify it. It also has, there's no flowers here, but it's this pretty star flower full of a good fatty acid. It is an omega-6 fatty acid, but it is a good omega-6 fatty acid called GLA, or gamma-linoleic acid. And so that's really good for skin conditions. You'll hear the beneficial properties of chickweed are for skin. It's great to make a poultice and put on skin lesions, like psoriasis, and things that just disturb the skin lesions. It's a demulcent, which means it breaks things up. It kind of soothes things out. You can take it internally, externally. There's a compound in it called coumarin, which is really close to coumadin, right? They take coumarin and I think they make coumadin out of coumarin, but coumarin does not have the anti-clotting effects. But coumarin has the property of being able to cleanse the lymph system. So this is a very powerful lymph cleansing wild edible. So all I'm saying is eat some wild greens, identify them well, and then eat some wild greens. Okay? Well, I'm going to harvest this finally. And by the way, this, my wheat field behind me here, which really is like a little mini wheat field, it's coming down because was the mulch. I used straw for my mulch, and some of the early mulch had a lot of seeds in it, so now I have a wheat field. But that's getting ready to go down. I'm going to start planting this whole area in more like tomatoes and peppers and things like that, jalapenos and things like that for the late summer harvest. So anyway, eat your greens, get your coumarin, get your GLA, your omega-6, your good omega-6s, vitamin C, beta carotene, good stuff. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye. All right, washing out the hall. Nice. Let all the dirt and critters float to the bottom. All right.